Ask and you shall receive. The PDGA lays out guidelines for reopening. Frolfcast, episode 15. Thursday, May 14th, the Professional Disc Golf Association announced their 5-step process to reinstate event sanctioning, with conditions surrounding the novel coronavirus pandemic improving in certain regions and some areas seeing sporting events resume. The PDGA Board of Directors has approved a 5-step process that will allow for a phased reinstatement of sanctioning to begin. This is further proof that the Professional Disc Golf Association listens to Frolfcast, as we were the only entity in the disc golf media business, in the disc golf media world, that was pushing for the Professional Disc Golf Association to come out with some guidelines, with a plan to get back to sanctioned tournaments on the disc golf course. Lo and behold, here we have it. You ask and you shall receive. This process takes effect immediately and will be in place until further notice. As a result, all events scheduled after May 14, 2020 will be placed into reserve status with sanctioning pending. These events will be allowed to run as soon as local directives permit organized competitive sporting events to resume. The statement from the PDGA continues, "We appreciate members' patience and flexibility as we work to reopen competition and adapt to a new normal, and we share in the disappointment of those who have to cancel plans or will not be able to enjoy tournament disc golf in the immediate future." This is where they're buttering you up to prepare you for no refunds on your 2020 membership. Let's find out. However, with the steps below now in place, we have a clear path forward to getting back to what we love doing. And now we enter the 5 steps to reinstate PDGA event sanctioning. Sanctioning will be reinstated on a regional basis using the following process. Here are the 5 steps. Number 1, a state, provincial, or national government authority must issue directives that allow organized competitive sporting events to resume. Going to be tough in a lot of those states across the beautiful country that is the United States of America. Going to be tough. I feel for some of you guys, especially out in California. Going to be tough to sanction some events out there with how they have been proceeding and moving stay-at-home orders later into the year. Number 2, PDGA verifies government directives in cooperation with member-elected state and provincial coordinators and appointed country coordinators. So they must verify the government in your area has been in direct cooperation with member-elected state and provincial coordinators and appointed country coordinators. Sounds like a pain in the neck, and we're 2 steps in the 5-step reopening procedure. Number 3, upon verification, sanctioning becomes available in that geographic area. So that's 1, 2, and 3. After a state, provincial, or national government authority issues directives that allow organized competitive sporting events to resume, and you check in with local government directives in cooperation with your state and provincial coordinators, then you must be verified and sanctioning will become available in that geographic area. And we've seen some areas already open up, and we'll get to that later in the program. Number 4, PDGA will notify event directors in that geographic area who must then acknowledge and agree to implement government directives and PDGA requirements for competition during COVID-19. So once you jump through all those hoops, the PDGA will notify event directors in your geographic area who are trying to run a tournament. Then they must acknowledge and agree to implement government directives as well as the PDGA requirements for competition during COVID-19. We'll dig into that in a minute. Number 5, sanctioning is reinstated for individual events. So step 5 is pretty much saying everything is back up and reinstated for individual events. Practically back to a new normal, as they said. At all stages of this process, local rules and regulations supersede any of those administered by the Professional Disc Golf Association, with the exception of rules governing sanctioned competition. The PDGA implores all event directors, competitors, and attendees to always follow the directives issued by state, provincial, or national government authorities. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day what the PDGA has said about your particular area or your particular event or your particular sanctioning agreement. All of these local rules and regulations and all of these stages throughout the process are superseded by local rules and regulations. So far, as a result of this process, sanctioning is open. Sanctioning is available in Iceland and Norway. So if you're listening to this Frolfcast program, from Iceland or Norway, great news. You're opened up, you're ready for PDGA sanctioning and to continue your event as planned. The PDGA staff will email event directors who have events on the schedule in those countries to receive acknowledgement of the PDGA requirements for competition during COVID-19, because you must follow those rules as well, even after all of this goes well for you and you find yourself ready to get back to your tournament normal. You must follow the PDGA requirements for competition during COVID-19. Additional updates on when and where sanctioning will resume will be announced as they are approved. The PDGA continues on to open your eyes about the future of disc golf and the future of disc golf competitions moving forward. Going to get you used to a new normal, what you're going to see out on the course when you're competing. They're emphasizing contactless events. When sanctioning resumes, events will operate differently than they have in the past. Event directors and all staff, players, spectators, etc. must follow all government guidelines for an event's location. PDGA staff has also outlined several best practices to emphasize contactless competition. So here we go. They're about to introduce these steps, what you are going to experience at your PDGA tournament when you resume. They urge directors to consider integrating these additional recommendations to further enhance government directives. All players and staff should practice 2-meter physical distancing upon arrival at the event and at all times prior to, during, and after their rounds at the event and in all locations. Funny how they call it the 2-meter rule. This is a 2-meter horizontal rule from the PDGA. They can't say 6 feet. 6 feet social distancing like everybody else has gotten used to. They have to say 2 meters. Clever, PDGA. Make light of an otherwise hairy situation. Events should utilize virtual player meetings and other digital means for check-in and payout to avoid physical group settings such as player meetings, award ceremonies, and any other ancillary activities. That's fine. I could get in on that. Totally cool. Digital scoring should be utilized. I don't like that. I've been in multiple tournaments where they use digital scoring, but we always defer to the paper scorecard at the end. That's the end all be all. Don't need to be on the PDGA app with the live scores. It screws up. It's too buggy. It just doesn't work. It's a pain in the ass when you're trying to focus on your round to get your phone out. Much easier, paper and pencil. Make Frolf great again. Players should not touch discs, bags, carts, or any other private property belonging to another player. Fine, you shouldn't do that anyway. When you're on the course in a competition, shouldn't be touching other players' discs anyway. Participants should bring and control their own food and water for the entire day. Fine. Don't show up to an event expecting to get fed anytime soon. Totally fine with that. The PDGA does explain some amendments to the tour standards and increasing flexibility due to a reduction in available scheduling time remaining in the year 2020. The PDGA has made several changes to the tour standards and international program guide. These changes take effect immediately and will be in place for the remainder of the 2020 season as staff and the board of directors hope to increase flexibility for players and event directors. The changes include reduced mileage restrictions on events, a reduction in payout requirements, reduced sanctioning agreement deadline requirements, and reduced trophy and medal requirements. Not too concerned about that. Finally, any other questions, be sure to check out the PDGA's COVID-19 Frequently Asked Questions page. And that has all been updated alongside with this announcement. We're going to skip right over the COVID-19 Frequently Asked Questions on the PDGA website because it's just going to be a bunch of repetitive stuff we've already gone over. We're going to jump right into the regions approved for PDGA sanctioning. This is the exciting part. As of May 14, 2020, PDGA sanctioning is being phased in on a regional basis of a 5-step process that requires government authorization of organized competitive sporting events. We've already gone over that. But the regions where PDGA sanctioning has been approved to resume, the list will be updated as soon as sanctioning in a region is made available. So there's 3 areas already made available. We previously mentioned Norway and Iceland, available for event sanctioning. Iceland, who are lifting restrictions gradually, starting May 4th. Straight from the Iceland Directorate of Health, opening up some public events. Iceland, good. On the list. Norway, Public Health Institute of Infection and Prevention and Advice for Sports. Flying in, opening up sanctioning agreements to Norway. Norway, you are in. And the lone state in the United States, the first one to break the ice, Arkansas. As of May the 14th, governor announces theaters, lecture halls, and other large venues okayed for limited reopening, and that is good enough for the directive regarding large outdoor events, which is covered in disc golf. Arkansas, you have found your way in to legitimate PDGA sanctioning. The first one in the United States. Congratulations. Let's keep an eye on these states. Hopefully they keep rolling in one at a time and we can get back to some competitive disc golf in the year 2020.